Welcome to our lesson here in Microsoft Excel kung saan we'll talk about the formula and the function. So we will break down the lesson for today. So we start with the lesson with a simple formula. So introduction muna tayo. So this is one of the most powerful feature in Excel ability to calculate numerical information using formula. Just like a calculator, Excel can do the following: add, subtract, multiply, and divide here. In this lesson, I will show you how to use cell reference for simple formula for nothing data. So we start with about the mathematical operator. So mostly dito sa Microsoft Excel, we have the standard operator for the formula po natin. So we have the plus sign for addition, minus sign for subtraction, asterisk for the multiplication, and the forward slash for division, and the caret symbol for the exponent. All the formula, take note, all the formula in Excel always begins with an equal sign. This is because the cell contains it or is equal to the formula and the value is calculated. So, para ma-understand natin kung paano ginagamit ang formula sa Excel, so we'll do the sample. So while you can create a simple formula Excel manually, just like 2 equals 2 plus 2 or equals 5 times 5, so mostly those of the formula is create for simple formula. Pero usually the better way to use yung formula here in Excel is called the cell reference or using the cell address of the particular number natin dito. So usually using cell reference will ensure the formula is always accurate instead of using the simple formula po natin dito. So mostly, for example, create a simple formula and then biglang nag-update yung data natin, siyempre babaguhin mo pa yung formula natin sa mismong number. While yung cell reference is mostly siya ay para siya ma-change yung number directly po natin. So open mo na isang bagong sheet here. So open up tayong bagong sheet. So create tayong bagong sheet dito. So for example, I put a number the 10. And dito sa A1, naglagay ako ng 10. And then dito sa A2, naglagay ako sa 5 po natin dito. So for example, we have the 10 and 5. So gagawa tayo ng formula here. So, paano gumagawa ng formula dito? So, again, like I said, every time you create a formula, we always start with the equal sign and click on the cell this contains a number 10 po natin. And then, next, put the symbol you will use or mathematical operator we will use. For example, I use the plus symbol. So, and then I click on the 5 po natin. So automatic, we have the formula here is equal sign A1 plus A2 po natin. Then click enter, you will get the value of 15. Pero take note, here in Excel, on the cell is 15 ang nakalagay, pero dito sa formula bar is yung formula tinipe natin earlier ago. So, like we saw here, this A3 formula in A3 refer to the value cell 1 plus the value of cell in A2. And then I click the enter, the formula will calculate and display the answer to the equation A1 plus A2 natin dito. For example, nag-change tayo ng yung A1, ginawa from the 10, ginawa natin 15. So click enter, automatic the value, yung formula natin is automatic nag-change siya dito. So instead of 15, naging 20 because the value of A1 had been changed for natin. So take note, by combining mathematical operator with cell reference, you can create a bar variety of simple formula in Excel, and formula can also include the different combination of the cell reference and numbers. So we have the earlier we have the cell reference, which is A1 plus A2. And then we have, for example, we have the C4, minus lang natin sa ating given the value, which is 3. So we can type C4 plus minus 3 on natin. Then, for example, we have used the division. So equal sign E7 divided by J4. And then we have the multiplication. This is N10 times 1.05 po natin. And then the caret is the R5, the caret of exponential to 2 po natin dito. So again, how to create the formula? To create the formula is using cell reference. So punta tayo dito sa simple formula tab. Later, I'll share the sample of this one later on. So, for example, mayroon tayong June budget, which is 1,800, and the July budget, which is 2,200 for natin. So, for example, how to create a formula. First, select the cell you want to obtain the formula or kung saan natin lalagay yung formula po natin. So we will put here in B4. So again here in B4, so lalagay natin equal sign. So we have the equal sign po natin. Next step naman is type the equal sign. We already put that. And then notice it appears both the cell and the formula bar po natin. So every time we create a formula here, either mismo dito sa mismo cell will also appear also in our formula bar po natin dito. Then we type the cell address, or you can click on the cell natin yung no-obtain yung may number po natin. So we can type, it's up to you. You can type, for example, type natin B2, or you can click on the value you want to put on the assign the first cell po natin, which is the 1A natin dito. And then, next naman, type the mathematical operator you want to use. For this case, we will use the plus symbol or additional symbol po natin. So take note, as you saw earlier, may yung kanina yung tinap natin yung click ng B1, there's a moving, may ikot na border sa mismong tinype or sa click natin 1A. Then once na-click natin yung mathematical operator, nawawala po siya. Pero naka-highlight pa rin yung blue na box po doon natin. Then, on the second cell reference, the second formula natin dito, which is yung lalagay natin. After click the mathematical operator, click pa natin or type pa natin yung second number you want to add from the first number natin. For example, I click on the 2, or I will type there B3. It's up to you kung how you will do that one natin. And then next was okay now. So we press the enter the keyboard, the formula will be calculated. So we have 4,000 na po dito. So saan galing 4,000 is belong to 1A plus 2, that's why it become 4,000. As you can see, like as we saw earlier, na dito sa mismong formula, sa mismong cell ang nakalagay is 4,000. Pero dito sa formula bar is nakalagay is yung formula type o yung ginawa natin na formula po natin earlier dito natin. So modifying values. So now we go to modifying values with cell reference. The true advantage of cell reference is allowed you update in the worksheet without having to rewrite the formula again po natin dito. For example, binago natin yung June budget. Yung pala no, June budget is supposed to be 2,000, not 1,800. So for example, 2,000 siya. So ang tanong, kailangan mo ba, kung kailangan ba natin gumawa another formula for that one? The answer is no need. Kasi nakaset na yung formula natin dito to earlier, dito sa B4, yung formula natin, which is nakalink siya sa B2 and sa B3. Which means kung binago tayo either sa B2 or sa B3, automatic the formula and the result will be different because nag-change tayo yung value dito sa either sa B2 or sa B3 po natin. Yes, so like you saw here, formula dito is, kanina is 1 to 1, 5. Then binago niya 1 to ginawa niya 1, 8. So change the value to 1 to 1, 8 automatic. The formula in B3, you recalculate, display the new value because the formula contains equal B1 plus B2 po natin. So take note that Excel will not always tell you the formula contains any error. Yes, so minsan ang Excel will not, hindi yan sasabihin kung may error ang program po natin dito. Because it's up to the user kung tama yan tinype yun formula po natin. Now, ngayon naman we go now to the how to create formula using point and click method. Rather typing or clicking on the formula. So actually we're ginagawa natin to earlier go. So ulitin lang natin yung step by step niya. You can point and click on the cell you want to include in your formula. This method save a lot of time and effort when creating formula po natin. So for example, we go here in our sample, we have this paper supply inventory order. So we have the quantity and the price per unit. So we have pa dito, tama? So how we could put the formula for natin dito. So we go to the G4, so type natin equals sign again. So this time we click natin yung 15 or type natin instead. So G4. Then, so this time we will use the multiplication. So like I said here, when nandito na tayo sa cell, step 3, select the cell you want to select reference first in the formula. So kanina yung type natin is G4 po natin. And the cell address will appear on the formula and together with the dashed blue line will appear around the reference cell po natin. So ulitin ko yung cell reference. So once na-click yung for example, E4. So E4 natin, automatic may lalabas sa dash blue line. So pinili natin na cell reference natin dito. Next, again, we will type the mathematical operator, which is the multiplication symbol. So we put the times or asterisk po natin. And then select the cell you want the reference for the second in the formula po natin, which is yung 8.75 po natin dito. So every time we click yung cell, automatic may lalabas na moving borders sa paligid niya. Then once okay na, we just click enter. We will get 131.25. So take down the formula can be copied using the fill handle, which is save a lot of time where you need to perform same calculation multiple times in the worksheet. So dito, for example, we have the formula here on the task, and then we want to use the same formula for the napkins, the paper plate, and cups, because they also have the same formula, which is quantity times price per unit. So we may use the fill handle po natin. Again, what is the fill handle? Is yung black na cross. So we usually place the mouse pointer to our bottom left corner of the cell want to fill handle natin. So hold yung mouse, hold your left click and drag it down until here to G7. Automatic, we have the result here. And as you can see, the formula is the same with the yung unang ginawa natin dito sa may sagot na 131.25 po natin dito. So for example, we want to edit the formula. For example, yes, we want to edit the formula. So paano ni-edit the formula? So sometimes you want to modify existing formula. So how to edit it? So for example, there's a here it is a budget or budget total budget of 4,000, inventory cost at 450. So for example, mali yung tinype yung formula, mali yung tinype yung formula. So for example, must be formula, ang nakalagay dito is B7 minus B8 divided by B8. So hopefully minus symbol. So saan daw pwede mag-edit ng formula? Usually here in the formula bar, dito kayo pwede mag-edit ng formula po natin. So this is division, so hopefully is minus po siya dapat. So if I place the mouse pointer before the B8 symbol. So okay, click ko backspace. I-click ko naman si minus symbol po natin. And then click enter. Automatic the result has been changed from division to minus po natin dito. Yes. So that is your simple formula lesson. Now we go to with we are talking about the relative and absolute cell reference. So usually in formula there is two types of cell reference for natin. One is a relative and the other one is absolute. So usually the relative change the formula copy from one cell on others. Same with as we did with the fill handle po natin. Yung fill handle, kung anong formula yan sa start, and then gumamit tayong fill handle automatic, the formula from the bottom part of that one will be the same po natin dito. So while the relative, absolute, on the other hand, had the constant. So pag sinabing constant, that is the cell or cell reference na ka-steady lang siya sa formula po natin dito. So first we do the relative reference. By default, all relative reference are relative reference. All cell reference, sorry. When copied across multiple cell, they change based on the relative position of the row and column. For example, we have a formula na A1 plus B1. Then gumamit tayo ng fill handle pababa. For example, we had on the bottom part, we have A2 plus B2. So relative reference, especially convenience, whenever you need to repeat the same calculation all over the rows or columns mo natin. So punta ko dito sa menu item. Menu item first. Yes, so we have the menu item here. Yes, menu item. Ito na lang menu item natin. Menu item. So we'll go to the total. Total po natin. So total, we have total here is yes, total natin dito is meron siyang existing na formula which is B4 times C4 which is price times quantity plus yung cell stocks po natin. For now, wala po tayong formula dito sa cell stocks po natin dito, correct? So, kung sabi may sino na sa formula dito, then we'll use the fill handle to copy the formula po natin. So from B8 to say E4, and then use the fill handle symbol and drag that down until the last one. See? So that is your relative cell reference. Yes. So now we go to absolute cell reference. Absolute, when there are main times when you don't use the cell reference, you change the fill cell. Unlike with the relative reference, absolute reference do not change when copy or fill. This is absolute reference, you skip the row or column content for natin. Which means meron tayong times more formula kung saan yun number o yung cell is naka-steady siya sa one place po natin. So usually creating an absolute reference is designed in a formula that's additional using the dollar sign po natin before the column and row. If we see the row and column, not the both at the mixed reference po natin dito. So usually we can see the dollar sign A, dollar sign 2, which means the row and column will not change when copy. If dollar ang nasa row number lang ang dollar sign, which means the row will not change when copy. And then for ng column, naglagay mo na tayong dollar sign after the column letter, which means the column does not change when copy po natin. So when you use relative A to an absolute dollar sign A and dollar sign 2 format, most format, very rare tayo makakita na mixed reference are used as frequency. So usually writing formula in Microsoft Excel, we'll click on the F4 key on your keyboard to switch from relative to absolute and mix cell reference. So again, we saw earlier, since yung gawa na natin to, yung relative, this time sa cell stocks po natin dito. So cell stock natin is, so to do the cell stocks, for example, cell stock natin 7.5 po natin dito. So here is 8.0, so that's hopefully the same lang siya. So dito sa cell stocks form, which is the D3, so D3 tayo. So delete lang to. D3 equal sign yun C3 times C3. So parenthesis muna tayo. B3, B4 pala. B4 times C4 times 4 parenthesis. And then the E1. So yung naman na E1 is yung E2 po natin. Then we will choose times yung E2 muna, which is 8.0. Pero take note, we have to change it into absolute cell reference. As you can see here dito sa for example, ang formula niya is instead of times E1 is naglagay siya dollar sign E and dollar sign na 1 po natin dito. So like I said, we can use the shortcut key, the F4 on the keyboard. Para mag-change. F4, so F4 tayo. Okay. E4, so good. Pwede man E4, pero pag lumagana E4 natin. Yan, so yan, once na click ng E4, both the dollar sign E, dollar sign 2, nag-appear na siya dito sa formula po natin. And then once okay na, click enter. So we will have 3.59 sales stocks natin dito. Then we will drag down ito. Drag down. And you can see the formula from the parentheses now change from the C4 times B4 times C4, and then pumunta tayo sa baba, will be changed to B5 times C5. Pero take note, yung nilagay natin na dollar sign na E2 is stable na siya sa formula po natin. Ang nagbabago yung nasa loob ng parenthesis po natin dito. Yes. Because the relatives reference in the row 9 are relative to row 9, but absolute cell reference because it remains constant po natin dito. Yes. So make sure to include the dollar sign when you're doing a absolute cell reference whenever you're making absolutes across the multiple cells. The dollar sign will be omitted in the sample below because of the spreadsheet is interrupt the relative reference, producing incorrect result when copied of cell po natin dito. Which means, pag wala tayong dollar sign nilagay dun from the earlier, sample hindi natin lagay dollar sign dito. We just rename it A2, then pag fill handle tayo, may lalabas na error po natin. Because, as you can see, is tama yung nasa loob sa B5 times C5 times E3. At you can see, E3, wala siyang value natin. Tama? Wala siyang value. It's only the word, no total. That's why the error po dito. Yung formula po natin. So make sure it's naka-cell reference. I mean, absolute reference yun kung may isang number lang tayo naka-dead. So usually cell reference with multiple worksheets. So pwede siya mag-link. Ang mga formula can be linked to another sheet ng formula po natin. So most spreadsheet programs allow to refer to any cell in any worksheet. This is especially helpful when you're doing a reference specific value and gusto mo siya link to another worksheet po natin. To do this, you simply need to begin cell reference a worksheet followed by estimatory point to do that natin dito. So for example, here in simple formula, for example here, the catering invoice, meron na siyang formula. We have the value for the paper items, rental equipment, service fee po natin dito. Right? So dito may 10% siya, so di ba siya naka-connected. So dito sa menu item, wala pa siyang laman because kukunin natin siya sa isang tab po natin, which is the menu order po natin dito. So take note, worksheet name contains space, you must include the single quotation around the name. For example, you wanted a cell reference A1 to July budget, so we'll have to put single quote July budget A1 po natin. So the reference cell across worksheet, for a sample, we have to refer to cell that calculate value between two worksheets. This allowed to have the same exact value in two worksheets without writing the formula, copying the data from between two worksheet po natin. So for example, we have the menu order which ang nakakuha natin dito is 634.66. Then gusto ko siyang link dito sa catering invoice kung sa meron din naka menu item po natin dito. So lilink po natin siya. So we go to tayo sa catering invoice equal sign. Again, same with doing the formula. We click the equal sign and then we go back to the menu order po natin. Menu order, as once you punta tayo sa menu order, automatic the single code menu order because the tab has a spacing yung menu order natin. So naglagay siya single code and story point. And then click natin yung value na may 634.66 natin dito. Which means formula natin dito sa catering invoice is nakalink dito sa menu order kung sa may E15 the value, which is 634.66 po natin. Then, once okay na siya, click enter. So as you can see, pag binin tayo sa formula bar ng menu items, yung 634.66 is nakalink siya sa menu order ng total po natin dito. So press enter on your keyboard, the value of the reference cell will appear. If less than but the E14, a change from the menu order, it will be updated automatically. That's catering invoice worksheet po natin dito. Now we're going to talk about the function Function is a predefined formula that performs calculation for specific values in particular order. So usually it's a function, hopefully, earlier we already talked about the formula, pero sometimes, syempre pag sobrang dami ng data or data natin sa Excel, syempre we cannot do the click operation, click operation many times natin. So, pwede lang siya pag short numbers natin. Pero pagdating sa mga 50, 20, or even 10 numbers, medyo kakapagod din mag-click or type the cell reference po natin dito. So, dito papasok the function po natin. All spreadsheet programs include the common function can be used to quickly find the sum, average count, and maximum and minimum number for the range of cell. So this time, ang function, you will compute their sum or their function by the range of cell po natin. In order to use function correctly, we need to understand the different parts of the function and how to create argument to create values for cell reference. So we have the parts, the function. So dito, same with the formula we always start with the equal sign po natin dito. Equal sign, so this is the syntax or the format to create a function. Like I said, we will use the equal sign, same we did with the formula. Next, type the function name. The function name, for example, we use here is sum natin dito. Then, after that, open parentheses, click the first cell reference and the colon until the last cell reference yung gagamitin natin dito. Or that is called argument. Argument contains the information you want to calculate. The function of example below is used to add the values of the cell range from A1 hanggang A20. A20 po natin dito. So, working with argument. Argument can refer to both individual or cell range that may enclosed with a parenthesis, and you can include one argument or multiple argument depending the syntax required for our argument po natin dito. So, mag-share half screen tayo dito. Half screen, so open ang bagong working worksheet dito. For example, here it's a B. Here's a B. For example, sa B, naglagay tayo 5, 8, 9, 7, 5, 1, 3, 2, and 7. So we have 9 numbers here natin dito. So we will create the function here. So ito sa baba po natin. So how to create a function again? How to create a function is equal sign, then name of the function, which is gagamitin natin this time is the average. So we'll type the average. Minsan, while you're typing, may lalabas agad yung word or the keyword ng ating function. Then, open parenthesis, and then click natin yung B1, then lagay natin colon, and click hanggang B9. So, then close parenthesis. So, which means, so as you can see, when you click yung B1, then naglagay yung colon, and click yung B9, which is the last number of the cell reference, and then close parenthesis and click enter. And we will get is 5.22222 po natin. So, paano na po yun? It's because they plus all the numbers from A1 to B1 to A, B9, which is makukuha siya si 47. 47 divided by 9, because there are 9 numbers here. So that's what we got, 5.222 po natin dito. Yes, so that is, later we'll talk more about what the different function po natin here dito sa function po natin dito. So at the same time, you can create multiple arguments by separating by the comma po natin. So raise ko lang to lahat. Then type ko lang ba ito? Type natin to si 7 or 4, 23, 5, 12, and si letter to E1 is 15. So dito natin lalagay yung function natin which is equal sum o tinag ko di sum A1 to A, don't forget for the column by the way, A3, comma, C1, colon, C2, comma, and E1 po natin, and close parenthesis, and click enter. We will get 66 po natin. So hanggaling 66 is na plus yung 7 plus 4 sa 23, plus 5 plus 12 plus 15. Actually, we can do that also with the formula po natin. Pero it will take a lot of time. So for example, we do the dito sa A6, gagawin natin formula way, the formula way natin. So A1 plus symbol 4 plus symbol 23 A3 plus C1 plus C2 plus E1 po natin. We'll get also the same answer. Pero as you can see, it's mostly mas madali gamitin yung function unlike we doing with the formula po natin dito. So like we said, they have different different function you can choose from here. There are a variety of function here, the sum, the common function you can use natin dito. We have the sum. Kung sinabing sum, it adds all the number values or numbers in the cell of the argument. Pag sinabing po average, it determines the average of values including argument. They will get the sum of the cell and they will divide it on the number of divide the value of the number of the cell in the argument. Then we have the count. The count is count the number of cells, numeric data in argument, and usually quickly counting items in cell range. And we have the max, which determines the highest cell value, and si min, which is the lowest cell value po natin dito. So how to use a function or paano gamitin sa function natin. So usually meron tayong sample dito na food supply inventory order. So we have the sample here. So meron tayong food supply inventory order. So we have the same item and the quantity, the price per unit, and if we already have here the total cost natin dito. So we will compute the average price per unit for that. So we go to C11 cell. So like I said here, select the cell which contain the function. For example, is we use the C11 for natin. And then next, type the equal sign and type or enter the desired function name. So since it is average, so we will type the average for nothing. Like I said, if we may know about the average keyword, you can click. Actually, click, you have to choose pala, sorry. Choose natin. So, not sure na pa choose. Oops, sorry. Choose po yung average bago tayo mo dito. You can type or select from the list of suggestion po natin dito. And then next, enter the cell range of the argument inside the parentheses. So we will type C3. So actually you can type or click on the C3 po natin. Then colon on C10 po natin dito. C10, close parenthesis. So on this formula add the value from C3 to C10, it will divide the value of the total number in the range to determine the average. And click enter. So we'll get So may dapat may makukuha tayo na 15.93 na average price per unit po natin. Yan. So, like again, same with the formula, the spreadsheet will not always tell you the function contains an error. It's up to you to check all the your function natin dito. So, working with unfamiliar function. So, if you want to learn how the function works, you can type the function with a blank cell what it does for nothing. So example, you type equal sign workday, may lalabas the workday, then click on the workday, may lalabas the meaning for the workday. It's return the serial number workdays before or after a specific number of workdays for nothing dito. So there are many from different function you can create from here dito sa Microsoft Excel for nothing. Now we go to understanding nested function. So what is a nested function? Which means mayroon siyang function inside a function po natin. So every function, a formula or contains a function, the function is generally created before any other operator like multiplication, division. That is because the formula treats the entire function as a single value po natin. So which means yung ginagawa ng function is para siyang a single value po natin dito. Before you can use the value in the formula, you need to run the function po natin. So again, we have the sample here. So may tinype na din ako dito similar with the sample. The student one, the 5 assignment, we want to find out is final assignment grade po natin. So here the on the B, dito sa B7, which will type equal sign. So the sum, so kung compute natin, so don't forget to put the open parentheses and highlight natin from B2 to B6 divided by 500. So how comes 500? Because every perfect assignment grade is 100 po natin. So they will plus all the 8 yung value from the 5 assignment, which is 88 plus 77 plus 70 plus 82 plus 86. And then they divide natin sa 500 po natin. Yes, okay, bakit di po ginamit yung average na function? Because the average will only plus and divided whatever you plus here. Pero since dito had a different value of the division, that's where we'll use the function and the slash formula at 12. And click enter, we will get 81%. So, okay, so naka 0.806. So parang gamitin, we just put it in the percent symbol. Kaya naging 81% po siya. So let's look more complicated using multiple function like workday, open parenthesis, today, comma 3, which means here we have two different functions working together, which is the workday function and the today function. This is known the nested function. Since one function is placed or nested inside another one, so usually as a rule here in the nested function, the nested function is always calculated first, like a parenthesis to perform first in order operation po natin. So there are many common functions we can use here natin dito. So these are many other functions you can use quickly to calculate different things in your data. Learning how to use the function allows you to solve complex problem in your worksheet. Actually, there are many functions, but it will not be part of this lesson. Maybe in other video, I will create them. So I will end my lesson here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to those who want to learn about function and formula in Microsoft Excel. See you on the next videos. Bye-bye.